What's good, everybody? RJ Shelton here, back with another episode of Midwest Recap. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. Packers went ahead and beat the Miami Dolphins 30-17. Jordan Love was 21 of 28 from the field, 274 yards, throwing 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs had 19 carries for 43 yards and a touchdown. Tucker Kraft had 6 receptions for 78. Let me keep looking here and see the stats that we got for the Packers. Josh Jacobs also had 4 receptions for 74 yards. Christian Watson, bounce back game after him having a huge drop, had 2 receptions for 67 yards. Wicks had 4 receptions for 30. Reed had 3 for 24 with 2 touchdowns. This was a great game by the offense. At the guy at the helm, Jordan Love, playing very efficient football. Like I said, 21 of 28. Completion rating is very high there. You're looking at least over 70%. And when he's not throwing interceptions, everybody, he is the best quarterback in the NFL. If we have him to go ahead and not throw one interception, we have a chance to go ahead and win every single ball game. Defense played well, got the timely stops when it mattered. Yes, I know Tua Tagovailoa threw for over 300 yards, but it all what matters when you get down in that red zone. As I'm looking right now, give me a sec. In the second half, we literally went ahead and held all of them the field goal. Excuse me. Let me go back to that. We had a field goal in the second. I believe that I think maybe the third quarter they might have scored, but then I think in the fourth, we held them the field goals. I could be wrong on that math, but you get what I'm saying. When we go ahead and go and get down to, the opponent's touchdown area and our defense goes ahead and holds them to at least a field goal, that's a win. So big one this coming week against the Lions. That's a big division rivalry game. Definitely going to go ahead and have to take care of business there for that one and go ahead and put our mark to get a good seed in the playoffs. Badger football, not good at all. Went ahead and lost to the Minnesota Gophers 24-7. Badgers are out of a bowl game. That 22 streak is over with. Braden Locke was 15 of 32 from the field, 130 yards throwing, 1 touchdown. Walker had 14 carries for 36 yards. You don't even know what to say at this point. You can go ahead and I don't even know what to say at this point. Looking at the situation, do I think Luke Fickell needs to leave? No. Do I think you find a new head coach? No. Do I believe that you go ahead and find an offensive coordinator? Yes. That those two can go ahead and be complementary to each other. Do I think that these, we've been saying on this with me and my good brother James Menschow, a.k.a. Jimmer, does, Luke Fickell need to get his recruits in? Absolutely. Do these old recruits that they have, are they, quite frankly, horrible? Yes. You got to go ahead and continue to go and make strides to go ahead and become better. It doesn't happen overnight. This is a whole different team if Van Dyke was playing, in my opinion. You look at the season, there were some games that you probably should have won. USC should have won that one. Oregon at home, you should have won that one. The big position is obviously quarterback play. Braden Locke got thrown in the fire. But at the same time, it's like, you got to still produce. You got to go ahead and still do the job. This year he was 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Completion rating was 55%. Granted, he played okay coming in and being in the, situation that he was in, but you need to be better at that. You got to have a guy to go in that comes in and that can go ahead and not lose stride on where you guys are going. It's a tough one for the Badgers to go ahead and not be able to go to a bowl game. But I think, for fans that are listening to this, you continue to put one foot in front of the other. Luke Fickell's still your guy. You go ahead and get very active in the portal. You get very active in this recruiting process, and you get very active in finding the right fit for the Wisconsin Badgers from the offensive side and defensive side. And realistically, I think Mike Tressel can still be the guy. I don't think you need to get rid of him. He did a tremendous job in what he did. It's a team game. Your offense realistically didn't hold the slack this year. That was the Achilles heel for this team. So it's a big offseason for Luke Fickell and his staff or whoever's going to come on, and it's a big, big offseason for the players as well. You got to get the right guys in there. You got to get the accommodating guys that are tugging on the same side of the rope to go ahead and put you forward to go ahead and get in the bowl game last year. 15th in the Big Ten. When was the last time Wisconsin's been 15th in the Big Ten? It's been a long time. Moving on from that, the Bucks go ahead and face, let me see here, the Pistons today. They are right now in a very good standing. They're 5th in the Eastern Conference. They're at 10-9. They're on a 6-game win streak. Love seeing what I'm seeing. Just got to go ahead and continue to get that going to get in a good seed, when playoff time comes. But I love what I'm seeing from Doc Rivers. The adjustments have been made, and we're moving forward towards the right direction. So have no complaints there. Vikings went ahead and played the Arizona Cardinals. They went and won that one 23-22, nail biter in U.S. Bank. Sam Darnold was 21 of 31 from the field, 235 yards throwing, 2 touchdowns. He also led rushing as well with 4 carries and 22 yards. Justin Jefferson had 7 receptions for 99 yards, another 1,000-yard season, one of the best to ever do it. It was a game that was going a little bit slow for the Vikings. Then you look at it towards the end, it's how you finish, and they finished. Went ahead and they threw a little, I want to say, 10-yard or maybe even 12-yard throw to Aaron Jones, who had fumbled 2 times previously, but went ahead and closed the game out for him. They are 10-2. They face the Falcons at home at noon. And then Gopher football, as I mentioned earlier with the Badgers, they went ahead and took the axe. Great season, 7-5. They went and beat the Badgers, as we know. Max Brosmer was 17 of 26 from the field, 191 yards, throwing 2 touchdowns. Darius Taylor had 32 carries for 143 yards. And Elijah Spencer had 5 receptions for 75. Great season, even though you had a couple games that you look at that you should have won. That one at Penn State, you should have won at home. A couple other handful ones coming down to the wire that you didn't go ahead and get on the right end of the stick on. But 7-5, going to a bowl game, being able to go ahead for seniors to play, another game, but also be around the facilities for about 3 to 4 weeks. And then, guys that do have an opportunity to go to the league, they do. And guys really that don't, it's the last time they're going to put the helmet on. But great season for obviously the Gophers. We shall see what bowl game they get in, but you're moving on. And then last but not least here, Timberwolves, they are 9-10, 11th in the Western Conference. They go ahead and have a big week this week. Wednesday, they go ahead and face the Clippers. Friday, they go ahead and face the Warriors. And this weekend, they go ahead and face the Warriors again in Minneapolis. So they got a big week, got to get bounced back because, looking at them being 9-10, it is the NBA, but you kind of want to go ahead and be within that, first to 10th ranking, as you want to call it, I guess, to go ahead and still be in a good position to put yourself, in the playoff seat. So big one for them. And then moving on over to the Chicago area, Bears went ahead and faced the Lions. They lost that one 23-20. Caleb Williams was 20 of 39 from the field, 256 yards throwing and 3 TDs. He also led the team as well in rushing with 4 carries and 39 yards. And DJ Moore had 8 receptions for 97 yards from 1 touchdown. As we all know, Eberflus literally had no clue what the time management was towards the end of the game. I don't even put that on Caleb Williams. As a coach, you're seeing it, and him being a rookie quarterback at the least, why do you not just call a timeout, kick the field goal, and go into overtime? I mean, there's no need to go ahead and talk about that even more. He should have called the timeout. You have an opportunity to go ahead and knock off the Detroit Lions at home, and you basically went ahead and fumbled that. So it's been like that all year for the, Chicago Bears. These past 3 games have been horrific for you. Like I can say, Caleb Williams is playing good. You got to go ahead and hang your hat on that at this point because the coaching especially is the main reason why you guys are losing games, and it's really sick to see. So they go ahead and play the 49ers in San Francisco. That's definitely still a tough game for them. I mean, even though the 49ers have lost, their previous 2, I believe, or 3, that's still a game that you got to go ahead and get prepared for. Do I think you're able to go ahead and take care of that? Absolutely. But it all comes down to coaching. It all comes down to, can you manage the game correctly? So we shall see. That game is at 3:25 in San Francisco. Final Illini went ahead and faced I will call their rivalry in Northwestern. They went ahead and beat them 38-28. Luke Almara was 10 of 17 from the field, 170 yards throwing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Pat Bryan had 4 receptions for 70 yards and 1 touchdown. They got the running game going with their running backs. Aiden had 12 carries for 172 yards and 3 touchdowns. Basically was a vocal point guy there, taking care of business. 9-3, unreal season, great season, going to a bowl game. Probably going to go to a higher one in regards to when I mean higher. I don't know what the college playoff setting is going to be, but I think they play at the home, to have home field advantage. But you can be able to go to the Outback Bowl, maybe, somewhere down south, maybe out west. Going to go ahead and be a good ending for your seniors. Then the Chicago Bulls, they are in the Eastern Conference at 8-13. And then last but not least here, Michigan area. Obviously, I mentioned earlier with the Bears. You guys want to beat the Bears 23-20. Jared Goff was 21 of 34 from the field, 221 yards throwing, 2 touchdowns. David Montgomery had 21 carries for 88 yards. and Amase Brown had 5 receptions for 73. Records go out the window, divisional game. Basically, you were going ahead and taking care of business all the way through the first half. Second half, they came back. Very lucky that the Bears couldn't go ahead and do any type of, clock management to go ahead and put themselves in position to go ahead and possibly kick a field goal going to overtime. If you want my honest opinion, I think the Lions still would have came out and won this one. Still a dominant team in the NFL. I truly still believe the best team at 11-1. They go ahead and keep stacking wins. They definitely going to get that 1 seed. They go ahead and face, obviously, the Packers this Thursday. That's going to be a big one. We shall see how that plays out. But good win, win's a win. But this Thursday is going to be a showdown. And then last but not least here, Michigan State football. They went ahead and lost to the Scarlet Knights, 41-14. Aiden Childs was 13-23 from the field, 150 yards, throwing 1 touchdown. Lynch Adams had 9 carries for 69 yards, and Jack Villing had 5 receptions for 77 yards and 1 touchdown. So let's get into it. So we went ahead and all saw the, if you haven't, saw the press conference interview with Aiden Childs at the end of the game. And the first thing, me not knowing who this man is, not knowing anything of him, first impression is everything, right? So he comes out and says, or the first things that come out of his mouth says, I am no longer care about the fans at all. And then goes ahead and, says something else towards the lines of, accept the people that stayed there. Again, like it's cool, but I don't even really care about anything other than what happened in the beginning of what he said. This is not a good look for Aiden Childs. And I'll tell you this. So you go ahead and say those type of things, not only to former players, to fans, to your teammates, to basically all of the athletic program, because they're investing in you. You could have went ahead and kept that in and just say, hey, listen, you know what? We're going to go ahead and get back to the drawing board. I got to be better. We got to be better as a team. And just keep it short. What you just did right there had no rhyme or reason to be said. Not only have you put more pressure on yourself to go ahead and be better next year, but the fact that you felt that was comfortable to say that after the season that you had, like I said, was embarrassing. And I think number one, to go ahead now and look at what you've just said and what the season has hold, you better be ready to go ahead and get even scrutinized even more and be putting the pressure to where you have to play completely better. I'm talking about light years from what you just did this past season, because it's going to be tough to do. I'm not saying you can't do that, but you've just put yourself in one of those categories to where you need a top 5 quarterback coming into next year. And I'm just very disappointed in seeing that being said after a game, after we went ahead and lost by 3 scores, to where it's okay to say that. So I don't know if it's to where now players are now taking over more of what the coaches are doing, which it might happen due to what's going on with NIL. But where is the, coaches to go ahead and sit this, kid down and talk to him about, hey, listen, like, you don't need to go ahead and say certain things like that. Keep that in-house. Why are you going ahead and saying that, I don't care about the fans? I mean, the fans are what makes you. The fans are what makes college football. So where is the train and thought of thinking that was okay to say in the first place? Granted, you might be frustrated, things like that, but that's not a good look going into next season. So with me looking at that, now my standard for you through the roof. I better hear everything on that. You are taking the right direction to go ahead and get this offense together. You're the one that's getting all these guys together and going ahead and timely throws, getting recruits, talking to recruits. And on top of that you need to get better as a quarterback. Those stats that I just obviously tweeted, 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. You could say some games that we should have won, should have not, but you are the main reason. And the quarterback at any level is the main reason on where their offense goes. You have a big decisions to make every single weekend, especially on the field and off. It's all about your preparation. It's all about what you're going to do from here on out. So I really wasn't a big fan of what that was said by Aiden Childs. I'm a little bit disappointed. But now, if you feel comfortable saying stuff like that, now you're going to have to go ahead and take the pressure on, if it's me or if it's another, writer, or if it's a fan, or if it's your teammates, or if it's, I don't know, who knows? You have to go ahead now and uphold to what you just said for the next 3 years to go ahead and be the quarterback that you want to be. Do I think he can? Absolutely. Do I think, you know, where we are as a program, are we going to get any better? I hope so. I don't know after this season. From the offensive perspective, what are we going ahead and going to do to get better? We're going to be losing a lot of guys probably to the portal. How is Aiden Childs going to go ahead and get this offense to the next level? Because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's not about the coaches. It's not about what's being drawn up. It's about how you go ahead as a quarterback to go ahead and make it happen. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. Look at all the quarterbacks that came before him and the ones that actually won. Connor Cook, you know his record. Kirk Cousins, you know his record. Connor Cook won the job, won a Big Ten championship, 2 of them, multiple bowl games, all that good stuff, and had guys around him because we went ahead and knew what he was doing every single day to go ahead and get this team to where it needed to be. He put the preparation in. He went ahead and basically got everyone together to make us better, led when needed to, kept everything in house of what negative of what was just being said by Aiden Childs, not in the press. You need to go ahead and take accountability on yourself to make this program better, because that's where it lies. The program lies on the quarterback. It has for years at Michigan State and has for years in college football. Big year for him this offseason. I mean, it's a big year for coaches and everybody, but that right there kind of made no sense to me on why that was said. And I think realistically is just embarrassing, like I said. It's embarrassing to go ahead and say that, not just only for players, for parents, for previous players, for the whole university. That just leaves a bad taste in your mouth after this season, after this horrific season, to go ahead and have your main leader on your team, the vocal leader, the guy that everyone looks at, the quarterback position, the primetime position, go ahead and say what he said, this past weekend. So hopefully it proves me wrong, but not a good look. Big offseason for Michigan State football, big offseason. So we shall see how that goes. I'm definitely going to keep tabs on that and see where it ends up. And then last but not least, Detroit Pistons. They are ranked 10th right now in the Eastern Conference. They are 9-13. They got a big week as well coming up. They go ahead and face the Bucks today. They face the Celtics December 4th. They've been playing well. I mean, we've been, Detroit Piston fans. This has been kind of an up and down as of, the previous years. But now we're looking like a ball club. And now you're looking like someone that wants to go ahead and compete. So should be interesting. That's the Celtics, they play Wednesday. And then the Knicks, they play the 7th on Saturday. So that was short and sweet for you. We will definitely have the lineup going on with the cast members that come on to my show. And we talk about, obviously, respected states. You guys have a wonderful week. We'll see you sooner than later. Peace out.